antidote. Call me up, I'm on the SEQ.
Momma SEQ.
We're back for another video, and I just need you guys to know that in the very first video we did together, I was eating in the video some gelato. It was really good, and my good girlfriend was like, oh my god, please don't eat that in the video. And so I just wanted you guys to know that several videos later I'm going to be eating my good panera in the video. I apologize in advance. Thanks, that was the disclaimer. Okay.
Happy Sunday, everybody. We've been sick, and we are now kind of getting over things. The twins have never been sick, and they finally got a cold from an adventure we took.
Don't even.
And after the adventure, they kind of got the sniffles, so that means that we got the sniffles, and we're now better. So we're back.
Wow. So can we just talk about the fact that when a store has an opening, right, and there's a long line, but people want to come in and actually purchase instead of get whatever the free offer was, somebody should walk the line and be like, but if you want to purchase, come on in. So we stood in line for like almost
2 hours.
2 hours to get something that we wanted to pay for because it was the grand opening of this place. And when we got all the way to the front, we were like, we saw somebody else walk in. We were like, we're confused. And they were like, oh, they're going to pay. I said, well, yeah, we plan to do that too.
We didn't want the free item.
So we got sick. Because it was raining. Anyway, this is delicious. What is this?
Turkey cranberry flatbread.
You guys know I like food, right?
But she doesn't always want to try different things, so she just told me, well, whatever you bring me, I'll love. And I'm like, okay, let's see.
As my daughter would do. So people have been asking about a couple of things. And also, let me say, I just had like a 2-day bout with depression that I really just had to, you know, kind of work myself through. And, you know, when you... I don't say I suffer from depression because I don't really suffer from it. I suffer while going through that
Dark time.
Right, but I don't suffer with it in life. But it's really difficult sometimes, you know, to hear people tell you, oh, it'll be okay, oh, just, you know, and I'm one of those people that would tell somebody that. But there are moments that I really just have to sit in silence, and yesterday was one of those days. And so I'm really, really blessed that I have people on my team and really good, genuine friends that love me enough to, you know, not let me get to a point where I basically want to end my life. I've been hearing voices telling me to kill myself since I was a kid. She's here. If I was lying, she'd be flying. And chicken noodle soup. I don't make light of suicide. One of the reasons why I do so much work with depression and suicide prevention with teenagers, especially in Native American communities, is because we're Choctaw Indian, and the pain of suicide hits very close to home for me. The pain of depression hits very close to home for me. So sometimes I have to clear my energy. We're actually on our way on a vacation, literally like this upcoming weekend, or
yeah, days away.
And I'm really excited because
We haven't had a vacation.
we haven't since I retired my mom, and when I say retired, that's in air quotes because she's not old enough to collect Social Security. So people, sometimes they envy what they don't understand, or the facade. I really never try to put on a facade. But it's been difficult for my mom because, she's used to going to work. And I've been for a year and a half attempting to get my mom back into the life that she lived before she was going to work. She was an entrepreneur, and that's where I learned it from. So she's had over 20 years of not being an entrepreneur. And it's like, no, but I remember you used to do so and so. So it hasn't been, there have been some rough patches where I've just been like, certain areas that, like I'll be transparent. There have been certain areas that I don't want my mom to move to because I don't want her to meet some guy right now when, she's going through a divorce. And then, if that's her weakness, I don't want her to go through that. Same reason that I don't, actively date, because I don't want to go through. That's a weakness for me. I'm not really good in relationships, and the relationships that I have currently, by the way, absolutely fulfill me, and I don't really have a need to seek and search for other people to have relationships with.
And I don't want to get into a trap because that's part of my weakness is that I feel that I'm alone and then I make some poor choices. And I've made those in the past. So knowing that, I don't want to be around, in different areas where I could be susceptible to something.
All she have to be doing is walking down the street, really. That's how it happens. She walking down the street and then some
random person. And I don't, and I'm just over all that. And I'd rather, live my best life. And my best life is not being in a relationship. And I don't want to be in one. And it was very fulfilling for me yesterday is I was cleaning a bunch of stuff because we're still moving. And I was cleaning a bunch of stuff, and there was stuff that I had from my marriage. And it was very rewarding to throw all that crap away because it's like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. No, I don't need this. And it was like, by the time I finished, it was just a great big bag of stuff that I didn't need. And a lot of that letting go is the best thing that I did is, to let the stuff go because when I was holding on to it, it was like, well, and just in case. No, there is no just in case. It's over. I'm done, and I want to live a better life.
So, speaking of letting things go, one of my favorite quotes. Yeah, I've been living in fear. I don't really know what my fear is. I think, there are. I think it's an ego thing, but I just don't want my ego to get in the way ever of the work that I do. There have been moments lately where I have felt like, why are all these other, not why are they, but all these other people are getting like all these accolades for stuff that I've been doing for years and years and years, and I've never gotten an award for that. And I just had to remember and remind myself that if I'm waiting on rewards from Earth,
you're not gonna get them.
And that's not really why I set out to do the work that I do. Like, it is really, for years, I never really even put on my website that I help people to overcome incest, molestation, all these different things that, I help sex offenders. And you know, because that's like, I mean, how do you have a testimonial page full of people who are like incest survivors? Like, how do you do that, you know? And so I've never really wanted to.
Well, all your stuff is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And, you know,
So how can I get an award when nobody knows what I do?
but the irony is there's a lot of people that do know what you do. And God knows what you do. And that's all that matters. Because the people that you have actually helped know what you've done. So the rest of it doesn't matter. And just like I told her, I said, everybody on Facebook and all these websites and YouTubes and everything else are not living, you know, an authentic life. A lot of them aren't. And then you find
You hear about it after they commit
after a
suicide,
while that something happened or something
or they
didn't
get kicked
work.
out of their place, or
So you have to, you know, you have to really put yourself in perspective of living an authentic life.
so. I just scored an awesome private label account for Light the Mood, and you know, here I am afraid to open up my Lux collection because I don't know if people will want the things that are in my Lux collection. Like, totally ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. So
No,
now,
she's her worst critic. That's what the problem is. You know, she doesn't give herself enough credit that what she has is a great product. And she looks at everybody else's and it's like, oh, well, you know, mine doesn't look like this and mine doesn't look like that. And it's like, but you're you. And when you go on lightthemood.com, oh my God, you see beautiful things. I'm blessed because I get to test burn them. So I get to smell all of them and it's just wonderful. And I no longer have to use Glade in the, you know, in the electrical outlets. I have wonderful scents all through the house, and it can be a different scent in each room.
sorry,
Yeah, she's eating.
I was trying to time that perfectly, but so for my friends who, you know, are kind of stuck in a transition, you know, don't let fear paralyze you. Like, fear has paralyzed me at certain points. No real reason for the fear to paralyze me except that I don't really, like, at the point that I look at all the things that I have to do, I sometimes get a little overwhelmed. But I'm working on it the same way that how's my pettiness been lately? Time for a petty check.
It hasn't been real petty, even though Eric says real petty, petty.
Oh my gosh, I need to get them on film saying that. They'd be like, real petty, real petty.
But she really hasn't. I mean, she's called me on some things that I haven't been doing, and they're justified. And I can't say anything about them other than she's right. So there's no petty to that. She's right.
God is good, you guys. And, you know, there's always fear associated with the unknown. But one thing I know for sure, I have never reached my highest potential staying in my comfort zones. And, you know, I'm really thinking about doing a series real quick. Two. One on procrastination, because I know some people need that. And one on fear, because I think that the two are tied together. And I think it would be awesome to do something for free that you guys can have. So I'll probably talk about that when I release my next newsletter, I'm going to go back to doing my newsletter. I had stopped. So many different things to juggle, right? And I have my time in like these chunks. I time chunk. Marie Forleo talks about it. But I've been time chunking for years and years and years. And excuse me, I was eating. There comes a point where I had to say no to some things. One of the things that I had to say no to was the newsletter. I now want to bring the newsletter back, and also I'm going to bring my blog back because everybody loved the blog. I had lost. I mean, I was doing so much. You know, I was doing so much, so I didn't really have time to do all of these things. But I'm bringing them back. And with fear and procrastination, I'd also like to talk about consistency. So those are the three things that I'm going to be talking about. I will announce whatever the series is going to be on my newsletter, and then I'll probably announce it on social media. FYI, I'm never going to do Periscope. Never going to download Snapchat. I'm not big because my customers aren't there. You know, and I really only use social media to socialize with the people that I know. And I'm not really looking to monitor spam on, I mean, I already had to deal with that on Instagram. I don't really want to monitor all the spam accounts and the people that, you know, are coming on to say, oh, hey, love your picture, when they say that to every single person just so they can get followers. I don't have time for all that. These people are not buying my candles, and they're not paying for the SEQ Hope Foundation to come out and heal some teens, and they're not paying for me to coach, and they're not paying for me to speak. So I don't want to deal with those types of people. However, I know that a lot of you guys, especially with the questions that you guys send in to me weekly, I know that a lot of you guys could use my newsletter again, and you could also use my blog because I could answer some questions there. And then, so I'm going to bring that back. And we're still writing a book, and we're very excited about it. And
it's been painful. It has really been painful. You know, in the dysfunction book that we're writing, I started thinking about when my dysfunction started. And it's really painful to find out that my dysfunction started as a kid. You know, living in a house with dual religions. You know, you're torn because you got two parents and they're opposites. And I started thinking about what we had to go through as kids. And it's been really painful to even find that whole scenario projected into my adult life as well. So it's a healing process, but it's also painful.
And we really need to heal. And a part of helping other people is to continue to heal ourselves. And every time there's an area where we think we've healed from, because a year ago, you know, we weren't the happiest of like getting along. You know, because when I get irritated or angry, or, you know, see things that are not being done in the way in which that, first of all, we have a manual around here, house manual. What happens, how things run, how bills are stacked up, the dates for me to pay, like the kids have a schedule. She has a schedule, like, and I understand that I need to, you know, let my people go. Is that what you said? I know I need to do that. But when you work from home, if you don't chunk your time and have a schedule, the day will just pass you by and you'll just be sitting at home chilling. That I don't want to do that. I also don't want to go into an office and sit and work there either. But I have multiple businesses that I'm working on, and I'm rebranding myself right now. Yes, because I do not really coach adults anymore. I really am only focused on teenagers and young adults. So a lot of the time that I spend at home, I'm thinking, I'm brainstorming, I'm researching, I'm rebranding. And I need a schedule. So with that being said, she needs a schedule. And so it's been hard to adjust to, coming home and there actually being a schedule and you having to like really adhere to that, and the consequences of not adhering to a schedule, the consequences of not brushing my kids' teeth. Like, there's consequences to these things, and it's not like she gets, beat with the whip, and it's not like the no wire hangers, mommy dearest. It's just things need to run in a certain way, especially for an entrepreneur. And it's amazing because how I am, is how she used to be when I was a kid. So it's probably hard for her to watch herself all over again in me.
But what I've got to do is go back to where that was.
Hand me that. And even though it's all broken up, because my mom don't really take care of stuff like I take care of stuff.
No.
That's no shade, but she don't take care of stuff.
That's not what happened. I have two little people that decided they were going to open things as well.
This is an awesome meditation, guys. Right? This is Oprah and Deepak Miraculous Relationships. It's a 22-day meditation. It says 21-day meditation, but it has 22 days in it. And
we'll be doing those.
It's like, I'm telling Mom, you got to get up in the morning and like do the meditation. Like, we have to do that together. Like, just telling her to think, a family that prays and meditates together stays together. A family that dreams and vacations together stays together.
And we're going to work on vision boards.
Yeah. Because we have, new levels, and that means we have to have those things around us. My mom is trying to visit all these different beaches, and I'm like, okay, well, we have to plan to go to Dubai. We have to, it's like, it's more than a notion to put my kids on a plane, and more than a notion. And I'm like, listen, right?
Let's go to local beaches.
You know what I mean? Like, not like an hour away, like maybe 3-4 hours away. We can go to that, but let's explore some beauty around here, and then we'll jump on a plane. So, God is good, and I love you guys tremendously. Don't really have much else to say today except that my food has been delicious, and I can't wait to continue working because the twins are asleep. Okay, and I'm not even going to tell you what that took. I'm not. It took her, she had to leave. Okay, physically leave the house. And then I had to tickle them. Then, and...
Yeah, she's Mommy the tickle monster.
So they do this thing. What's your name? And I have to say, I am Mommy, and I'm the tickle monster. Right? And then they scream, and then they run around the bed, and then I tickle them, and then we also do this thing where I used to say, come here, right? But then they turned it into some other thing, so now they go, come here, right? So that means to tickle me too, and so they love to be tickled, and it's just so I had to do all these things. Then they each wanted to have a puzzle to sleep with. Then Eric decided, I'm going to open my puzzle, and can I at least do A through D? And I was like, you can do A through E of the ABC puzzle, but then you have to put it back. And so it was all this, and I'm like, yeah, so this is what she goes through when I'm not around. Got it. Oh, by the way, we couldn't find a little thing for his nose. So guess whose fingernail had to go up in there and pull out a big slimy booger? This guy right here.
The mommy.
Okay. Allow me to eat my Panera on camera.
Just got to have ya. Come turn me on. You never got to turn me on. I just got to have ya. Come turn me on.